All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the world of Greg Eade. He's a mortgage agent in Burlington, Ontario. And we've got his website pulled up, specifically his About section and some of his blog posts, just to kind of get a sense of who he is and, how he helps clients navigate the sometimes tricky world of mortgages.
Yeah, no. One thing that really jumps out to me right away is how Greg kind of frames his role as a mortgage agent. It's not just about, the numbers and the paperwork. He really emphasizes the personal touch, building that trust with clients and really understanding their individual needs.
Yeah, for sure. And there's this one quote on his website that really stood out to me. It says, "Every customer deserves the best care and service when purchasing or refinancing the home of their dreams." Which, on the surface sounds kind of like a standard line, but you get the sense that it's more than just a tagline with Greg.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, if you look at his business model, it's built primarily on referrals. And that tells you a lot, right? Like, people trust him enough to recommend him to their friends and family, and that's a pretty high bar in the financial world.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, what is it about his approach that creates that kind of trust? Is it the free quote and market overview that he offers? It seems like a pretty low-pressure way to at least start the conversation, even if you're not quite ready to commit to anything.
Yeah, that could definitely be part of it. By offering that free consultation, he's removing some of those initial barriers and allowing people to just kind of get a feel for his expertise without feeling any pressure to, sign on the dotted line.
Right. Okay, let's talk about his blog for a second. I was scrolling through some of the post titles, and a few of them really caught my eye. Like, one is, should you spend the full mortgage amount you're approved for? I think that's a question that a lot of people have.
Absolutely. It's a very common trap. You get that pre-approval and suddenly you're thinking bigger, maybe not always thinking about the long-term financial impact.
Right, like, oh, I could get this much, maybe I should get this much.
Exactly, and it seems like Greg is really trying to address those real-life dilemmas head-on, which is a smart way to connect with potential clients.
For sure. And he's got other posts like, take advantage of low interest rates, refinance your mortgage today, and strategies to dig yourself out of the debt hole. And he's organized them into categories too, like financing, mortgages, and real estate. So it seems like he's covering all the bases.
Yeah, and I think that's key. It really establishes his credibility. It shows that he's got expertise in these different areas. And it's not just about, getting you a mortgage. It's about helping you navigate that bigger financial picture.
Absolutely. And speaking of establishing credibility, did you notice that he also includes client testimonials on his website? So it's not just him talking about how great he is. He's letting his happy clients do the talking for him.
Yeah, that's a smart move. Testimonials are really powerful. They provide that social proof that people are looking for. So potential clients can see, firsthand how Greg has helped others. And it just builds that trust and paints a clearer picture of what they can expect.
For sure. Okay, so let's dive into some of these testimonials and see what people are actually saying about their experience working with Greg.
Sounds good to me.
So we were just talking about how Greg includes client testimonials on his website, which is a pretty smart move. But let's actually look at what those testimonials say.
Yeah.
And see what kind of picture they paint.
Yeah, let's get into the details a little bit.
So here's one from Karen. She says, "I would just like to personally thank you in regards to our latest mortgage renewal. You made the entire process smooth and painless. We will definitely be using your services again."
Short and sweet, but it definitely gets the point across. It sounds like Greg really takes the stress out of what can be a very complicated and, overwhelming process.
Totally. And she even mentions using his services again in the future. So clearly she had a good experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, here's another one. This one's from Amanda and Jim. They say, "Excellent service and attention to detail. You walked us through everything so there were no surprises at all. Highly recommended for sure."
Ooh. I like that they put service in quotes. It's like they're saying he went above and beyond what you'd normally expect from a mortgage agent.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they also talk about how he walked them through every step of the process, so there were no surprises.
Yeah.
Again, it reinforces that idea of, transparency and clear communication.
Absolutely. Okay, this next one is from a first-time home buyer named Mina. And she says, "Thank you so much for all your care, attention to details, and hard work. The pre-approval process really helped make our first-time home purchase a breeze."
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Especially for a first-time home buyer. That pre-approval process can be really intimidating, but it sounds like Greg made it feel manageable.
Yeah, even enjoyable.
Totally. He clearly took the time to, explain everything clearly and address any concerns she might have had. Right. Okay, one more testimonial. This one is from Samir. And he says, "I just want to say thanks. From the first phone call to the end of the process, you made things seem easy. Thanks again for everything.
It seems like simplifying a complex process is a recurring theme here, which makes sense. I mean, when you're dealing with something as significant as a mortgage, you want someone who can make it feel, straightforward and easy to understand.
Exactly. So based on these testimonials, it seems like Greg really does live up to his commitment to customer service. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about the actual services he provides. His website lists quite a few options, from first-time home buying to refinancing and even mortgages for self-employed individuals.
It's interesting how he caters to such a wide range of clients. It suggests that he has the knowledge and expertise to handle, a lot of different financial situations.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of self-employed individuals, I know that could be a tricky area when it comes to mortgages. Like, income verification can be a lot more complicated. Do you think that's where Greg's expertise really shines?
It very well could be. Self-employed people often face unique challenges when applying for a mortgage. They might have fluctuating income or multiple income streams, or they might have difficulty providing the traditional documentation that lenders require.
Right.
So yes, someone with Greg's experience could be a really valuable asset in navigating those hurdles.
Definitely. He also offers services for people who are new to Canada, which makes sense considering the Burlington area. It can be tough to secure financing when you don't have a long credit history in the country.
Absolutely. A good mortgage agent can help newcomers understand how the Canadian mortgage system works and guide them through the application process and even connect them with lenders who are willing to work with them.
It's all about bridging that knowledge gap.
Exactly.
And he doesn't shy away from more complex situations either. His website mentions services like debt consolidation and credit improvement. So it seems like he takes a pretty holistic approach to financial well-being.
That's a key insight. It's not just about getting you a mortgage. It's about making sure you're in a strong financial position overall.
Yeah. Now I'm curious, with all these services and his focus on getting the best deals for his clients, can Greg actually compete with the big banks when it comes to interest rates?
That's a great question, and one that I'm sure a lot of listeners are wondering about. Now, we don't have access to Greg's specific rates. But remember that mortgage brokers often have access to a wider range of lenders than traditional banks.
So he's not limited to just one bank's products.
Exactly.
He can shop around for the best possible rates and terms for each client.
Right. He's essentially acting as your personal mortgage shopper, leveraging his knowledge of the market and his relationships with lenders to get you the best deal.
That makes sense. It seems like Greg has a really solid understanding of the mortgage landscape, and he knows how to navigate it effectively. But there's one more area of his website that I think we should explore. His blog.
Yes, his blog. That seems to be where he really gets into the nitty-gritty of mortgages and offers some really valuable insights for potential clients.
Let's see what we can uncover there. Okay, so we've talked about, Greg's background and his commitment to clients and the different services he offers, but let's dig into his blog a little bit because it really seems like a gold mine of information for anyone who's looking to buy a house or refinance their mortgage.
It is. It's really impressive, actually. He covers topics that are relevant to pretty much everyone, whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've been through the process a few times already. And I really like how he breaks down these, sometimes complicated ideas in a way that's really easy to understand.
Yeah, totally. Like, remember that blog post title we mentioned before? Should you spend the full mortgage amount you're approved for? Such a simple question. But it gets at something that I think a lot of people don't really think about.
Exactly. It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of house hunting.
Yeah.
And you start thinking, well, if the bank is willing to give me this much money, maybe I should take it.
All right, you feel like you have permission to spend more.
Exactly. But Greg encourages his readers to think about the long-term impact, not just about what they can afford right now.
He's looking out for their best interests.
Yeah, for sure.
And in that post, he doesn't just say, don't overspend.
Right. He actually gives practical advice.
Yeah, like creating a detailed budget.
That includes all your living expenses.
Not just your mortgage payments.
Exactly.
So you can really see how much you can comfortably afford.
And make informed choices.
He's got another post called, Take Advantage of Low Interest Rates, Refinance Your Mortgage Today, which seems pretty timely, given how much rates have been fluctuating lately.
Yeah, refinancing can be a good option for some people.
But it can also be confusing.
Totally. Like, how do you know if it's the right move for you?
Exactly.
But Greg lays it all out.
Yeah, he talks about the potential benefits.
Like lowering your monthly payments.
Or shortening your mortgage term.
He even explains how you might be able to use your home equity to do renovations.
Or, pay off other debts.
Right. It's all about understanding your options.
He doesn't just tell you to refinance.
He actually explains the process.
Yeah, step by step.
So you know what to expect.
It's like having a personal guide.
To walk you through this whole complicated world.
And remember that post about getting out of debt?
Yeah.
It really shows how Greg is thinking about the bigger picture.
He's not just focused on getting you a mortgage.
He wants to make sure you're in a good financial position overall.
It's that holistic approach that really sets him apart.
Yeah, it's not just about selling a product.
It's about building relationships.
And giving people the knowledge and tools they need to succeed.
Exactly.
So after this deep dive into Greg Eade's world, what's the main takeaway for our listeners?
Well, I think it's clear that Greg is a mortgage agent who genuinely cares about his clients.
He's got the experience and the knowledge.
And he's dedicated to making the whole mortgage process as smooth and as stress-free as possible.
And he doesn't just talk the talk.
He walks the walk.
His blog is proof of that. He's constantly going above and beyond.
To educate and empower his clients.
So if you're thinking about buying a house or refinancing your mortgage, I definitely recommend checking out Greg Eade's website.
You'll find a ton of great information there.
And you'll find a mortgage agent who seems genuinely committed to helping you achieve your goals.
I think that's a great place to leave it.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it helpful and informative.